Hello, everyone, and welcome to day 30 of my 100-day project. It is the last day of oil paint. So I am doing another painting with cold wax. I figured go out with a bang, which is my favorite way to paint, or my favorite way to paint with oil. I do love oil sticks, but I'm going to be doing a whole 10 days of those. So stay tuned for that. But I'm kind of sad. I've really been enjoying painting with oil, and I really want to do it more often. I think that's one of the things I'm realizing about doing these different mediums is, gosh, I wish I had more time. I really do enjoy working with all of these different mediums, and I'm gonna miss it. So that's not to say I can never paint in oil again, but of course, my inspiration for today, I had painted a painting many, many years ago of a tree, and it was one of those paintings where I sat down to just do something and I ended up with a tree, and in the middle of the tree was this old man looking image. So I thought for my last day in oil, I would do something similar. If you're a Game of Thrones fan, maybe this is a weirwood tree, something like that, where there's this spirit in the tree. I like to call the trees that I paint watchers. The idea being that trees live for such a long time. Their lifespans are completely different than humans. And I'm just fascinated by thinking about all the things in the world that they've observed. So, in this fictitious world that I create through my work, I like to refer to the trees as the watchers. So, this is one of the watchers, and his face was just there before I had set an intention to paint a face, but it was just there. So I'm going in and adding some dark here and pulling it out. I'm using my spatula from Cold Wax Academy. This is a silicone spatula, but it's got a metal core to it. So the end is very soft, but the middle is hard, which lets me do things like this. And that is carve into the wax to get to that background color. The background, gorgeous quinacridone violet, which I'm so into right now. So I thought, how beautiful would that be to have this tealy colored tree, which is actually my favorite color, and have that against that quinacridone violet sort of peeking through, and then a neutrally sort of background. So I'm bringing in my palette knife here just to add some really, really thick paint to the features, and that's going to make them stand out, but it's also going to make it easy for me to get into those really, really small spaces. And he ends up with kind of a mustache, which I really love. It kind of took on a life of its own, and a bit of a side eye where he's over it, right? Like, oh, I've seen all of this. I'm done. I'm tired. I taught a workshop today, 3-hour workshop on exploring acrylic inks. It's a 3-day workshop, so I'm a little tired myself, and maybe that's what's coming in there. The background I'm doing with Indian yellow and some white, and I've dirtied it up a little bit. It's naturally going to pick up a little bit of that quinacridone magenta or violet that's behind it. So it's going to dirty it up on its own. That looked super, super bright when I started. And so I'm just working to try and get into those little spaces. And I bring in the palette knife to kind of help me do that again. And once I've got the background in, then I'm kind of thinking about what can I be doing. I'm bringing some of that background color into the figure. And then I thought it's a little bit plain. I don't want to add too much to it because there's so much texture, but I thought let me give him a bit of a garden to hang out in. So I'm scratching into the wax some flower shapes and then adding just a little bit of color in there. But I want them to be more in the distance, so I'm not making them too vibrant, and a little bit more behind him as well to just sort of bring the eye into the painting, kind of have it come down, circle around into those flowers, and back up into the tree towards his face. And then a few bright flowers in the foreground to add some interest there, and again, bring the eye into the piece. And that's it for today. Simple, fun, loads of texture. I love his attitude. It's just great. And there we go, day 30, almost 1/3 of the way through. Amazing. We are off to soft pastels tomorrow. A little bit nervous about that. That's more of a drawing medium. So we're going to play with that and see where it goes. I look forward to seeing you then. Thanks for joining me. I hope you are well, and I'll see you soon. Thanks. Bye.